it is often believed that Nigerian democratic system thrives on a vibrant and a good opposition leadership. Well, in Nigeria today, many ask if that is the case with the Nigerian political system. The political parties in Nigeria a veritable opposition to the leading party, the All Progressives Congress? Is Nigeria now a one party system? These and more will be the subject of discussion on this podcast show, the Leadership Dialogue. And I have here with me Barrister Sly Ezokenwa. He is also the national chairman of the All Progressive Grand Alliance, APGA. Good good afternoon and good to have you join me in the studio.
Good afternoon, and then I'm glad to be here. This for me, it's a very, very beautiful platform. I must confess. So I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, we just delve into the issues right now. What's your assessment of the current political system in Nigeria?
For me, I think the word opposition is more of an amorphous word. It can mean so many things to so many people, depending on your interest. Within the Nigerian context, of course, APGA is an opposition political party. And that's why I said within the Nigerian context. The Nigerian context in the sense that, of course, we have the political party that is controlling the government in power. And that's all called the ruling party. And then for Nigerians, every other political party in the system is an opposition party. But then in advanced climes, you understand, they have a different perception of opposition. So it's different. In US, of course, they have a two-party system, and then their definition of an opposition party is different. In a place like China, where I happen to have so much interest in, their system of government or governance, how they've been able to transform from a third world country to now a superpower, and building so much, leveraging on technology and all whatnot. And they have political parties there. What system do they practice? How have they been able to transit from that dictatorial governments to now having opposition that are still working in tandem with the ruling party? And so it is a whole lot. It's a whole lot. But let me concentrate in Nigeria.
Nigeria,
In listening to your introduction, for me, it was quite a very emotional one. You asked a very important question, more like a rhetorical question. Is Nigeria now sliding
into a one-party system,
where you have people, trying as much as possible? Look at the National Assembly members, everybody. There is this quest and this urge for everybody to now decamp to the ruling party without consequences. And so there are so many issues that I can say that will
the quest of people in other political parties like APGA,
yes,
PDP, Labour Party, to move into the leading political party, the All Progressives Congress, became even more obvious since the APC returned to power in 2023. Is there something different? Has a clock gone off the wheel?
I don't think so. I prefer, in trying to prefer solution to issues, I prefer to see myself as the problem. Because there's this adage that if you're pointing a finger at someone, 4 are pointing back at you. The first problem that we'll have in the country is that we'll have political parties that are no longer ideologically based. That is the major problem. So it's not, and I don't want to push the blame to the ruling party. I don't want to push the blame to the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. I don't want to push the blame. So the major problem there
who then takes the blame?
I'm coming. The major problem there is simple. Like I said, from time immemorial, political parties are meant to be easily identifiable by their core ideologies. If you look at this party, you say, for example, because I always say, in whatever I discuss about political parties, I always make allusion to the United States of America. Yeah. It's either you're a Republican or you're a Democrat. It is unthinkable that a Democrat will wake up and cross carpet or decamp to the Republican. It is unthinkable. It is inconceivable. Because before you join a political party, the first thing you do is you look at the constitution of that party and you look at their manifesto. What is the core ideology of this political party? What in this political party interests you? So for you, you are becoming or you are striving to become a member of this political party because there are some ideologies you see or some things that political party represents that resonates with you and then you're very comfortable with. And so for Nigeria, it became a downward slide. In the First Republic, it was clear. We had, of course, for example, if you see a political party then, the Action Group, that with its leader, Chief Obafemi Awolowo, you could know that there are some certain things, if you see a state being controlled by the Action Group, there are certain things you see. You must see one of his cardinal principles or cardinal policies in government was free education at all levels. Mm-hmm. And so once you come to an Action Group state, or then in the Second Republic that had the UPN, the first thing you will see is that there is free education at all levels. Then I think it was the MPN of Shagari, that thrived itself on, I think, on social welfareism, where you see their logo. It's even represented in their logo. You see a corn representing agriculture. Mm-hmm. You see house representing mass housing, and then governance. That is the ideology. Now, in the Fourth Republic, the word political party has now been totally bastardized. People now see political parties as simply a vehicle, a special purpose vehicle to attain political power. So for them, they don't have any. That's why in Nigeria, what can you say is the core ideology of the APC?
Exactly, Mike. I was.
What can you say?
I was driving there because
so
I
you
also need to know
Yeah.
why the APC has become even more attractive.
That's what I'm saying. It's not the problem. The problem is, like I said, everybody just wants a simple or an easy vehicle to attain political power. And so for them, they see, okay, if I belong to the ruling party, it's going to be easy for me. So for those political parties, their interest is, what do I do to grab the ticket of the party? Knowing fully well that we are everywhere. We have members at all levels. We have officers at all levels. We have officers everywhere in the world. So for them, it's just, let me belong here. Even if I don't get this, if I don't win this seat, you understand, I can get an appointment. I can be appointed into this board. I can become an SA to the president. I can become an SSA. I can be this. I can be given this contract. So for people, it is just about what they are going to get. Meanwhile, the first thing or the major push why people should actually strive to attain political power ought to be rooted in service. And when I say this, I always like to make allusion to my governor and the national leader of APGA. There's a statement he made. I thought through that statement and I said, no, this is the mentality. This should be the proper mentality. He said, the highest form of charity in life should be engagement in public service. So it's not when you share 10 kg bags of rice to about 1,000 persons, they eat it today and then tomorrow they are still hungry. But when you strive to get into power and you use your time to implement policies that are going to transform the lives of the ordinary people, that way, there is no greater charity than that. And so, back to the issue we are discussing. Mm-hmm. In APGA, there is something we are doing different, because I always like to use APGA as an example. There is a difference between opposition and witchcraft. I always make that point. Nigerians want opposition political parties to start practicing witchcraft. How? In China, I'm coming. In China, just, because I always get interviewed and they go, so you're not saying anything, you're not hitting at the president, you're not hitting at this person, No. The president, when you join a political party and you're striving to attain political power. The next thing is there's an election where the electorate ultimately make a choice. And when they make that choice, you're no longer the governor or the president of your party. You become the president of the entire country in such a way that the destinies of everybody, including members of the opposition, are inextricably tied to your performance. And so when you perform creditably or exceedingly well, the people are better off for it. When you perform abysmally or woefully, the people are worse off for it. And so for me,
But it also does not lie on who becomes president after an electoral process. Because I do also believe that the opposition parties should also play a key role. Sometimes it's not okay when we say, okay, the destiny of AYZ
Yes.
is dependent on the performance of a government.
No.
Well,
You
we should have people who should
I'm
know
making,
that
I'm making,
government-
I'm making a point. What you're saying is different. The point I'm making is this: that the role of the opposition is to hold government to account.
It's the accountability of
Now, what has China been doing different? Because accountability can come in various. That's why I said opposition and accountability in opposition is different from witchcraft.
But China
What does China do?
closed
No, I'm coming.
system.
I'm coming. No, even if they have political parties. Now, their style of opposition is very simple. They try to call out government of the day to do the proper thing, not to incite the people against government, because it is our collective responsibility to support the government to succeed. It is our collective responsibility. It is even there in the Bible. It's there in the Bible that you must respect people in positions and authority because it is God that appoints people to positions of authority. And so when you have a president, it is not for you to always look out for things to say to antagonize the president. Rather, like I always issue statements. When the president, for example, removed subsidy upon his assumption of office, I issued a statement that said, first, this is a step in the right direction. We cannot, because at a point, we had a damning report that Nigeria was even borrowing to subsidize petrol. With the criminal, or what I call the very, very, very organized criminal syndicate that had come to surround it. There was an investigation, if you remember the time of Farouk Lawan, and then Farouk Lawan, whatever was the issue, ended up in prison, was accused of trying to, collect bribe from Otedola and all. There was so many issues. But the thing is that the whole investigation was swept under the carpet. Yeah. Nothing came out of it. Now, the point I made was, yes, it is good to remove subsidy. It is good because government will realize a whole lot of funds that it can invest into so many areas of the economy. But the problem is that successive governments in the country had become so irresponsible that the ordinary Nigerians no longer trust them. Because
irresponsible in what?
Irresponsible in the...
When you talk about removal of subsidy, just a minute.
No, when I mean irresponsibility,
okay.
From the angle either financial irresponsibility or recklessness, because the point is this.
Recklessness does not actually suit this matter.
No, you must understand the point I'm making.
Where I am coming from, okay. You had mentioned removal of subsidies.
Yes.
And you were keen to this government.
Yes.
But then you remember that once upon a time, former President Goodluck Jonathan was in power.
Yes.
And he tried to remove subsidy.
Yes.
What happened? We had the Occupy Nigeria.
Yeah, of course.
And within few hours or within 3 days, it was reverted to.
Yes. And the question is, was Nigeria better off for it or worse off?
No, that question is for you to
answer.
No. But you are in the political. You are the chairman of APGA.
That's the point we're making. The point we're making is
we saw a huge opposition to the removal of subsidy under President Goodluck Jonathan. But under the present administration, everything it's like the opposition is saying, go ahead, it's okay for us. And then nobody's talking about how
it is not the same thing.
the ordinary
No,
Nigeria.
it is not the same thing. Let me tell you why it's not the same thing. You said under Jonathan, people like myself saw the argument. Because, you see, I don't join the frenzy of say, oh, we are saying occupy Nigeria, occupy. Yes, we understood the issues raised by the organized labor about how the ordinary Nigerians will be negatively affected by the removal of subsidy. Now, the government of the day presented an argument. If you remember, that was what led to the Shopee.
Sure.
Yeah, that was what led to the Shopee, the creation of the Shopee. That government, I think it was whatever reinvention or whatever, subsidy, whatever. I've forgotten the full meaning of the Shopee. But it was supposed to be an avenue where, because at that point, there was a particular amount of money or price that petrol was being sold for, and then they increased it. And so it was a reinvention program that what we realized from subsidy, or because we have increased, because it was more like a systematic removal. So we've now increased the price of petrol from 1 kobo to 2. So it means if you reduce from, if you increase the price from 100 naira to 200, it means you now have an excess of 100 naira, which you ordinarily ought to have paid as subsidy. You now have it. And the question is, what critical part of the economy do you reinvest this? And that's why I said about trust. That the problem Nigerians has always, even under Jonathan, when they had Occupy Nigeria, I remember vividly, the issue with them, for them, wasn't really the issue of removal of subsidy. It was the issue of, can we trust you that if you say that you are spending so and so amount, okay, you are spending, for example, in a quarter, you are spending 2 trillion naira. And you say, if we have these funds and we inject it into the economy, that in a space of 2-3 years, we are going to achieve this. But Nigerians no longer trust you because you have said similar things in the past and nothing has been done. And so from day one, even under Jonathan, the issue was not the removal of subsidy. Rather, the issue of what will the politicians in power do with the fund that they are going to realize from such removal. But at that point in time, we could still manage because we are, of course, this crude oil sale and so many things, we're realizing money. Now, under Buhari, everything collapsed in such a way that it became clear and apparent that the country was insolvent. So, are you now going to borrow? Yeah, at a point, we were even told that the crude for Nigeria has already been, the money for so and so number of months or years has already been collected up front. It became so bad that at a point, it was revealed that Nigeria was now realizing the collecting money from VAT to subsidize the NNPC. VAT. So, it was so open and glaring that Nigeria could no longer sustain this. And now that's where I now come from my statement. The statement I made is that there are some critical areas of the economy that the president must attend to before he should, or he can say that it's removing subsidy. The average Nigerian, the ordinary Nigerian the only thing he wants is simply to have power. He does not have a vehicle. So 2 things he needs the fuel for. 1, his generator. 2, an efficient means of transportation. And I told the president that it is your job, the president and the state governors, to ensure that we'll have an efficient public transportation system in the country, just like we have in advanced countries. And then you have steady power supply. I can tell you, if you sell a liter of fuel for 50,000, Nigerians won't care. If you have an efficient means of transportation in such a way that you have rail crisscrossing the entire country,
and then people can come into their house and they have steady or uninterrupted power supply. If you like sell a liter of fuel for 50,000 naira, nobody cares. It will now become more like an ostentatious product for the rich. If you want to fuel your convoy, please go ahead. Because at the end of the day, it was realized that even the subsidy was being enjoyed by the rich. You see a man, because if a liter of fuel is supposed to cost 10,000, for example, or 10 naira, and government is now selling it at 2 naira, it means government is paying 8 naira. That's the meaning of subsidy. And so you see a man, he has 20 vehicles in his house. So government is not paying him. Because the question is, if you do the calculation, what does the average Nigerian earn from that subsidy? Near zero or nothing. You find out that you are actually subsidizing the ostentatious lifestyle of the wealthy and the affluent in the society.
Is that what we are currently facing in Nigeria?
No, I'm saying these are the things that led to the removal of the subsidy.
Subsidy.
So now, if you're a rich man and you have a convoy of 10 vehicles, you fuel them at the average market cost. Because we did economics. We know what fuel's price. We see what we call the market forces of demand and supply. And now we are seeing even the price. So the point I'm making, because I'm not really talking about subsidy, the point I'm making is my job as the national chairman of a semi-opposition political party is to try as much as possible to hold the government of the day to account. And to account is to help them, because if the president of the country succeeds, it is for everybody, irrespective of your political leaning or inclination or affiliation. Whether you belong to PDP or you belong to APC or you belong to APGA or you belong to Labour Party, if the country is working, if there is a positive outlook on the economy, if we have steady power supply, if we have an efficient transport system, it doesn't. There is something very funny thing that my former governor, because I always call him my former governor, and incidentally he was the first governor of my platform, Peter Obi. He always say there is no Labour Party style of governance, or there is no PDP style of bad governance. Bad governance is bad governance everywhere.
Everywhere.
It affects everybody, irrespective of where you belong. And so the collective request or responsibility of Nigerians is to make sure that the government of the day delivers on their mandate. And now, coming back to our discussion about opposition, like I said, the first thing is we must begin massive orientation or reorientation. We must understand what political party means. We must understand what political ideology means. In APGA, for example, part of my agenda for this year and my third is to begin what we call a manifesto review.
And how do you intend to do that?
Now, we are going to hold public discussions, public, meetings and all whatnot. We're going to have intellectuals, people who have dedicated themselves, either political scientists, lecturers, people from diverse fields, congregate, looking at the modern day problem of the country. What can we craft in our manifesto that we can tell Nigerians that if you trust us and hand over political power to us, this is what you're going to expect.
But APGA as a party is not strong at the national level.
The fact is, what we're going to do is simply to build. When you say APGA, at a point, in 2007, I always like to draw this allusion. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu had just finished as the governor of Lagos State, and he was the only governor at that time on the platform of Alliance for Democracy. Fast forward to 2023, he became the president of Nigeria. How did he do that? There were talks of alliances, mergers, partnership. APGA is open to partnership.
Are there talks already?
No.
Because we understand that a mega political party is in the office.
You see, when you talk about mega political party, you ask yourself, if you get to that place and then you see disgruntled politicians whose interest is not Nigeria, but what will enter their pocket. I'm not
The
interested.
former
So,
governor of Kaduna State,
my dear,
Nasir
my
El-Rufai,
dear.
has recently moved from the APGA to
you see,
SDP.
that's still the problem. Because it means from day one, he never believed in any ideology of the political party that he belongs to.
But it's APGA also open to an
No,
alliance
because
with
because
SDP?
because I have to say this, and I say this with every sense of responsibility. I don't want to. This is not the appropriate platform for me to begin to offer a damning verdict on his time in Kaduna. It is for him to do some self-introspection and see, as governor for 8 years, what did you do? And so the question is, probably because you are not appointed as a minister. I'm not saying that he has no genuine cause, but issues or someone being disgruntled simply because what is it called? You couldn't have your way, or you feel the government of the day has left you behind and is now fueling your opposition. It is not an opposition born out of a desire to have a better Nigeria. He was a critical part of the administration, the immediate past administration, for 8 years. And we are now having very damning revelations from that administration. How insolvent, how messed up. If I don't want to, if that's why this is not the appropriate for at the appropriate time we'll talk about it. And so he is the least person. He's the least person that should even be talking about all these issues. We want genuine. First of all, I'm looking at
But would you have
and for me,
wanted or desired someone like an El-Rufai in your party to give your party a bit of a boost?
let me tell you what we want.
What?
As a political party, we are looking to build on the young people of Nigeria. These are the people that I want in our platform. Why? There is a discussion I was engaged in with some persons, and it was discovered that the people who are actually destroying this country are the people who actually have reaped the most benefit from Nigeria. They are in various cadres of leadership.
Can you give us an
across the
instance?
country. No, they are. We have governors, senators,
Governors,
the president.
senators.
Yes.
So who are these governors? Who are these senators?
No, you know them. You know them.
No, I don't.
These are the people who wait,
Barrister,
wait,
you are-
wait,
you are in
wait,
the field,
wait. I'm coming.
so you may give
these
us
are
a
these are the people who attended schools when we had free education, had free feeding programs in the 70s and 80s. They are the ones in various. They are the ones populating the entire leadership space in the country. Or they say, oh, the young ones are the leaders of the tomorrow. Now, let me come down to APGA, and then what I'm talking about, this ideology and what APGA is trying to build. And we are using Anambra State as a case study.
Okay.
In Anambra today, the governor of the state has been able to demonstrate that you can do more with little or nothing. And people are now beginning to say, oh, wait a minute. So these things are possible. What have our leaders in the country been doing in the various states? And now we now have the Anambra. Incidentally, I must tell you that we are blessed. And it is not a coincidence that these governors all came from a particular platform. Because I want the media, you and your colleagues, APGA has not been given the due recognition and attention that it deserves. Peter, that was the sensation of 2023 general election, was a product of APGA. Everything he did in Anambra was under the platform of APGA. Soludo today has raised that bar quite high in such a way that we are now making some comparison and seeing, oh, as at the last count, 8 newspapers, very reputable, very, very, very reputable tabloids, have given him the best governor in 2024 alone. In terms of fiscal sustainability, he's the best. In terms of ease of doing business, he's the best. There is this socialist intervention. And what we have in Anambra now is welfarism, more like, yes, welfarism, but in a progressive manner. In such a way that we don't give people handout, we train people in a sustainable manner that they can fend for themselves.
All right.
And so we have free education, free healthcare, so many. And the question is, what has other states been doing? There was even a revelation that came out the other day.
Before we make all of this comparison,
Yes.
we are in out of time. We're running out of time. But then I would like to ask you this question, Barrister.
Okay.
A popular questions from the minds of Nigeria. Out of our vox pops, we have been able to draw the same or a similar question, resonating in the minds of Nigerians, and that is, has the All Progressive Congress, the APC-led federal government, failed Nigerians? Or is it indeed the opposition political parties that have failed Nigerians?
If you ask me, I think it is an aggregation of all. Because when you
neither the
say, I'm
APC or
coming.
the
When you say the APC, I'm going back to 2015. I'm not just talking about the present administration. But when you're talking about APC, I'm going back to 2015. And so the present government, yes, we understand. The president has come out to say so many things. This is the state of the economy I inherited. Like my governor will always say, he said he does not complain because before he applied for the job, he knew the state of the state resources, the state income, the state expenditure, everything, the problems. And you applied. And there was a day, I think it was the wife of the president, the first lady, Odure Tinubu, senator. She made a statement. He said that my husband is not a magician who can turn things overnight. And I said, Madam, no. We need your husband to be a magician because he understood the enormity of the economic problem in the country before he brought out himself to be the president of the country. So he needs, if it takes magic to turn Nigeria around, he needs to be a magician. And in fairness to him, because in fairness to him, compared to what we had in the past 8 years before he came into office, it seems there's beginning to have a positive outlook on the economy, a positive outlook on so many things. But the fact still remains. No. In reality, of course, it is verifiable that food inflation is enough. It is verifiable. But the question is, we are still not there. We're not even up to 20%. And that tells you the enormity of the problem that was on ground before he became president.
But still under the same police?
Yes, still under the same. And that's why I said, in answering your question, it is an aggregation of both the ruling party and the opposition party. Has the opposition parties been able to offer that credible opposition to hold the government of the day to account? The answer is no.
So even
and the answer in saying that the answer is no, it is because the opposition party needs to do some sort of introspection. You cannot offer what you don't have. So opposition parties must first of all go back to the drawing board and build veritable platforms. Give Nigerians the alternative, because the question is, it's not to say, oh, the president is not doing well, this person. What alternative are you offering?
And that question lies before you. What alternative should the opposition parties like your party, APGA, be offering Nigerians?
Now,
as
for us, like I said, we are looking, for us, we are looking at two major things. First, we are looking at how we can help the ruling party to succeed. I always make this point. We want the government of the day to succeed. Incidentally, we share two names in common.
Are you in alliance with the APC?
No, we are not. But listen, I said incidentally, whether by design or by coincidence, they are the All Progressive Congress. We are the All Progressives Grand Alliance. And so we are progressives, both of us. And because they are our brothers in terms of progressivism, if we see that they are derailing for the core tenets of progressivism, our job is to point them out and make them realign and follow the right direction. And so if you say that we are partnering with them or we are looking towards a possible partnership to make them better, that is not off the card. Yes, we are progressives, and I'm proud to say that.
So apparently we should be looking at some sort of partnership ahead of 2027 between APGA and the APC?
Nothing is impossible. But for now, there is nothing like that on the card.
Okay.
But nothing is impossible.
But most sincerely, thank you for your time, Barrister Sly Ezo Kenwa. And we've been talking about the roles of opposition parties in leadership. I am Chikodinaka Dili, and we hope to see you next time. These are still Leadership Dialogue. Have a good day.